Never doubt Brazil at a World Cup. Never. Because people seem to forget who we are talking about here. This is the only 5-time world champion in football history. Brazil conquered the world in 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. They are the only national team to have played in every single World Cup. And when you look at the all-time numbers, nobody comes close to the mystique of the Seleção. 77 wins in 115 World Cup matches, a goal difference of plus 130, only 19 defeats. That is not just history, that is royalty. This is the country of Pelé, Garrincha, Zico, Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldo Nazario, Kaká, Ronaldinho, Neymar, Vinicius Jr., the home of Joga Bonito. One of the most beautiful football identities the sport has ever seen. But here is the thing, this Brazil is not exactly that anymore. This is something different, a different monster. This is Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil, and that means one thing above everything else: efficiency. Brazil are back in the round of 16 after eliminating a team many people believed could become one of the dark horses of the tournament, Japan. And yes, Japan struck first. They started the match with belief, intensity, and structure. They took the lead, and for a while Brazil looked uncomfortable. But there is something everyone should know about Carlo Ancelotti teams. They are kings of the comeback. In the first half, the Brazil manager sat on the bench, almost expressionless, watching Japan lead the game with that calm, strange posture only Carletto has. But he was waiting for half-time, waiting to put his hands on the team, waiting to send the message that would change everything. And once he did, Brazil reacted, inspired, patient, ruthless. Casemiro scored the equaliser. Then, in the final minute, Gabriel Martinelli appeared to seal a dramatic 2-1 victory. That is Ancelotti football. It might not always be chaos, it might not always be samba, but when the moment comes, it kills you. This is not the same Brazil. This Brazil are bringing out the best version of Vinicius Jr. Vini has become only the 5th Brazilian player to score in all 3 group stage matches at a World Cup. Before him, only Jairzinho in 1970, Romario in 1994, Ronaldo and Rivaldo in 2002 had done it. That is the level of history he is touching. And against Japan, he almost scored another outrageous goal. But Brazil are not just Vini, they have a generational talent in Endrick. And honestly, the way Endrick changed the match against Japan deserves serious attention. When he came on, Brazil became more dangerous, they created more chances, they attacked with more life. And in the final minute, when many players would have switched off, Endrick refused to give up. He pressed, he fought, he recovered the ball. And because of that, Brazil avoided extra time. That is not normal for a kid. That is star behaviour. But the scary part is that this Brazil is much more balanced than people realise. In goal, they have a monster in Alisson Becker. At centre-back, they have a serious partnership with Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhães. And Gabriel did not just defend against Japan. He changed the match by assisting Casemiro for the equaliser. This is also Matheus Cunha's Brazil, a player who has been scoring golazos throughout this World Cup. This is Bruno Guimarães' Brazil, a midfielder who looks impossible to stop match after match. This is Ryan's Brazil, maybe the most vertical player in the entire tournament. This is Gabriel Martinelli's Brazil, the man of last-minute goals. This is Casemiro's Brazil, a living legend who still appears when the shirt demands greatness. And yes, this is still Neymar Jr.'s Brazil, a player waiting for his moment to shine, waiting for his chance to make history in this World Cup. That is what makes this team so dangerous. It has young weapons, it has experienced leaders, it has defensive structure, it has individual brilliance, and it has Carlo Ancelotti. Brazil have already scored 9 goals and conceded only 2. And if this is what Ancelotti's Brazil looks like when they are still growing into the tournament, then nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to face them now. This is a Brazil that knows how to come back, a Brazil that knows how to manage moments, a Brazil that has enough talent to destroy you and enough experience to survive you. And that is exactly why they are once again a serious candidate to become world champions. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. This Brazil has something special, something that feels like it could finally break a curse that has lasted 24 years. Because the last time Brazil lifted the World Cup was in Korea-Japan 2002, when the Canarinha won their 5th star with a squad full of legends: Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo Nazario. That team did not just win. It reminded the world what Brazilian football was supposed to feel like, and before them came even more giants: Cláudio Taffarel, Dunga, Bebeto, Romário, Carlos Alberto, Everaldo, Gerson, Jairzinho, Tostão, Pelé, Zito, Garrincha, Mário Zagallo, Didi, and Vavá. World champions who turned Brazil into the most mythical national team in football history. But that is exactly why the last 24 years have been so painful. Because unlike those legendary generations that dominated world football for decades, Brazil struggled to adapt. to a sport that became more competitive, more physical, more tactical, and much more diverse. In Germany 2006, Brazil arrived as defending champions. They went unbeaten through Group F and then destroyed Ghana in the round of 16. The whole country started dreaming about the sixth star. But in the quarterfinals, Zinedine Zidane's France stopped everything. Thierry Henry, David Trezeguet, Patrick Vieira, and Zidane controlled the match with intelligence, pragmatism, and cold blood. France took over the midfield, slowed Brazil down, and never allowed the Canarinha to find rhythm. That World Cup marked the beginning of the end for several figures from the 2002 title-winning generation. South Africa 2010 did not change the story. Brazil won their group with 2 victories and 1 draw, then eliminated Chile in the round of 16. And in the quarterfinals, everything looked perfect at first. Robinho scored in the 10th minute, and suddenly the dream felt alive again. But then came the Netherlands, and then came Wesley Sneijder. The inter-midfielder scored twice, in the 53rd and 68th minute, and eliminated Brazil in just 15 minutes of chaos. Another quarterfinal, another collapse, another World Cup gone. So in 2014, Brazil tried to heal those wounds at home. But instead of redemption, they found the darkest night in their football history. In the group stage, there were already doubts, but Brazil still finished first in Group A. In the round of 16, they needed penalties to survive against Chile. In the quarterfinals, they beat Colombia. And suddenly Brazil were in a World Cup semi-final for the first time since 2002. The nation believed again, but what they did not know was that Germany were waiting. From the first whistle, Germany looked sharper, stronger, and more ruthless. Thomas Müller scored in the 11th minute. Miroslav Klose in the 23rd. Toni Kroos in the 24th.
On Sunday they might get another one.
Kroos again in the 26th.
Quite astonishing.
Sami Khedira in the 29th. Andre Schürrle in the 69th.
Square.
Schürrle again in the 79th.
Number 7 here now.
Oscar scored in the 89th, but by then it meant nothing. The Maracana was silent. Brazil had suffered the worst defeat in their World Cup history and their heaviest loss since 1920, and the humiliation did not end there. In the third place match, the Canarinha lost 3-0 to the Netherlands. That was not just a defeat. That was trauma. By 2018, Brazil tried again with a different generation. Only Thiago Silva, Marcelo, Fernandinho, Paulinho, Willian and Neymar remained from the previous cycle. Tite arrived with the conviction that Brazil were still serious title contenders, and for a while it looked promising. Brazil won their group. They beat Mexico with authority in the round of 16. But in the quarterfinals, history repeated itself. Belgium's golden generation eliminated them. Another strong squad, another big expectation, another quarterfinal exit. Then came Qatar 2022. Tight stayed, the squad changed, but not enough, and the result was painfully familiar. Brazil won the group. Brazil looked strong in the round of 16. Brazil reached the quarterfinals, and Brazil fell again, this time on penalties against Croatia. Different country, different squad, same ending. That is the real weight this Brazil carries. Not just the pressure of winning, the pressure of escaping a cycle. Since 2002, Brazil have lived inside the same nightmare again and again. Arrive as favourites, look dangerous, reach the knockout rounds, and collapse when the tournament gets serious. 2006, France. 2010, Netherlands. 2014, Germany. 2018, Belgium. 2022, Croatia. Every 4 years, the same wound reopened. But now Brazil seem to have understood a simple but powerful concept. If you want different results, you have to do different things. With Brazil's compass completely lost, the Brazilian Football Confederation made a decision very few people could have imagined. They chose a manager who was not Brazilian. For a country that built its football identity on its own mythology, it almost felt like sacrilege. But after years of pain, collapses, and quarter-final trauma, Brazil understood that something had to change. And if they were going to look outside, they went straight to the top. Carlo Ancelotti, the most decorated manager in European football, and the result has been fantastic. Carletto has taken Brazil back to a level they had been watching from distance for far too long. He brought Vinicius Jr. back to his prime, unlocked Bruno Guimaraes, gave Casemiro a new purpose, and even revived Gabriel Martinelli, a player who had struggled to score consistently for the national team. Before the World Cup, Ancelotti had already solved the first problem, qualification. Brazil's place was in doubt, but he steadied the ship and secured the ticket with 7 points from 12, including a big win against Chile. The preparation was uncertain. Brazil destroyed South Korea 5-0, lost 3-2 to Japan, beat Senegal with authority, drew with Tunisia, were humiliated by France, then responded by beating Egypt and destroying Panama. In those final 3 friendlies, Brazil scored 11 goals and conceded only 4. Ancelotti was tuning the machine. But beyond the numbers, Alisson Becker described the transformation perfectly. He said Ancelotti is resilient, humble, knows how to choose the right words, has a clear football idea, and brings joy and gratitude to the Seleção. He also added that Ancelotti is a multi-champion, and that being Brazil manager may carry even more pressure than being president of the country. That is Ancelotti's impact. Tactical, emotional, human. And that is why his decisions have worked, even taking Neymar to the World Cup. Many questioned it, but Ancelotti understood Brazil needed talent, yes, but also symbols. The clearest symbol of this new Brazil is Vinicius Jr.
Brazil had a good game, and their main guy, Vinicius Jr.
The Ballon d'Or level version of Vini from the 2023 to 24 season has finally arrived in the national team. Against Morocco, he picked up the ball inside the box, opened his body and finished into the top corner. Against Haiti, a similar action created Cunha's first goal after Vini's shot rebounded into his path. But Vini was not just scoring, he was creating. Brazil's second goal against Haiti came from his brilliant pass to Cunha, who attacked the space behind the defence and finished one-on-one. Then Vini scored the third himself, running behind the last line and finishing calmly. Against Scotland, he kept going. He scored the first by punishing a goalkeeper mistake, kept breaking the defence with diagonal runs and later scored again with a header. And against Japan, he almost scored the goal of the tournament. He received near midfield, nutmegged a defender with one touch, drove towards the box, eliminated 2 more Japanese players with a brilliant hip movement and struck with the outside of his foot. Only Suzuki's incredible save onto the post stopped a ridiculous goal. Ancelotti has made Vinicius as important to Brazil as Messi is to Argentina and Mbappe is to France. But Vini is not the only player he has activated. Bruno Guimaraes is having an outstanding World Cup. He assisted Vinicius against Morocco, produced 2 more assists against Scotland, including one spectacular play where he moved perfectly, won a physical duel, beat the final defender, and then found the best positioned player, Matheus Cunha. Against Japan, Bruno also played the vital pass for Gabriel Martinelli's winner. And perhaps the most underrated part of Ancelotti's work is Endrick. The minutes have been limited, but every time he comes on, something happens. Against Egypt, he entered and scored within minutes. At the World Cup, he played 26 minutes against Haiti and had a goal disallowed. Against Japan, he played 45 minutes and changed the rhythm of the match. In the final moment, his effort and high press helped Brazil recover the ball before Martinelli scored the winner. Endrick is making a difference under Carleto, and that matters because this Brazil now combines 2 winning DNAs. Brazil's World Cup DNA and Ancelotti's Champions League DNA. Since 2002, Brazil had not completed a comeback in a major tournament moment like this. Back then, Ronaldinho turned the quarter-final against England around with that iconic free kick in the 50th minute, and Brazil went on to win the World Cup. Now, 24 years later, Ancelotti's Brazil have done it again. They came from behind to beat Japan and seal their place in the round of 16, trapping a disciplined and dangerous team for long stretches and bringing back memories of those famous comeback nights at the Bernabeu. That is why this Brazil is different. It is not just attack, it is balance. 9 goals scored, only 2 conceded. Gabriel Magalhaes and Marquinhos understand what Ancelotti wants. Alisson protects everything behind them. Casemiro gives the midfield balance. Bruno controls the rhythm. Ryan brings brutal verticality. Martinelli gives them late goals. Endrick gives them chaos from the bench. Vinicius gives them superstar power. And Neymar is still there, waiting for the right moment to help Brazil chase the 6th star. So whether it is Norway or Ivory Coast next, they should not feel comfortable, because the Verde Amarela is back. Ancelotti woke up the star. He woke up the generational talent. He gave Brazil structure, balance and belief. So yes, the World Cup has a Brazil problem, and that problem has a name: Carlo Ancelotti.